Hi, friends. What do us old but goodies do after age 70? Um, you know, if we wanted to become music stars, it's going to be a hard walk upward. Because they're looking for people for late teens and 20s. So, unless you got some spectacular singing talent and playing talent, that's out. Writing's in. Yeah, we could write and nobody would know what we look like if we don't put our picture on the book. Now that's only if we can write good. And that's only if people want to read it. And that's only if we knew what people were reading at this particular time. I haven't been reading books people are now reading. Apparently it's romance and mystery. So you count me out on that one. I don't play a guitar. I used to. Count me out as far as being a guitar player. I used to try to be a singer and took singing lessons a whole lot until the final teacher told me a real good singer could not practice at all. And no matter if you practice 7 days a week, 8 hours a day, you could never come close to a talented singer. That stopped my singing career. Okay, I thought I had it made when I started writing books. And I did for a while. And it seemed like last book I wrote was 1978, somewhere around there. It was a hardback called Be Gentle with Your Goodbye. Maybe that was a forecast, because I never wrote another book after that. Be gentle with your goodbye. I was saying goodbye. But maybe not completely. It still haunts me. I know I can write, just like I know I can talk to you right now. I know people will read my writing if I get in tune with what they're thinking about and what's going on in their life. Just like you are watching me, and in some way, some words that I say could be hitting you right here, and you say, I believe that too. Yeah, he's right. Thank you, all of you who have sent such positive messages to me. I'm trying to answer them all, and I guess one of the best ones I got, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and it said, Jim, now I'm paraphrasing it, this is not the exact words. I like what you talk about. But what amazes me, what I really like, is you're not doing it for money. You're not doing it for money. Hit me right here, because I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it to offer thoughts that you can use if you want to, or thoughts to make you laugh if you want to laugh. I'm not going to make a penny. I know I'm not. No way you're going to make a penny off 500 plus subscribers and a few likes. But I can affect and help some people. There are people that are listening that I may say something that will really, really make a difference in your life. And I sort of like seeing myself on the on the camera too. It's kind of silly, isn't it? What can a guy do that's 80? No, not 80 yet. 76. That's gonna make a lot of people come to watch this video. I don't think the youth are seeking out people like me. I think they're seeking out rap singers. The rap singers that are, well, they're against each other. Sometimes I've heard they've even hurt each other to climb ahead. Yeah, I've heard worse than that. You have maybe too. Yeah, that's really something. Snoopy Dogg. Snoopy Dogg was the first one I heard. Now the last one, you may want to play this on YouTube. Paint the street red, or I'll paint the street red. My goodness. This girl dropped out of school. I don't know. It had to be high school. She had to be 16. And all she did was listen to rap music. And a few months ago, when this song called Paint the Street Red came out, I couldn't believe it. It actually affected me. So much I wrote it down. I didn't know that was the title. It was. I thought she said paint the street with blood. So that's what I was looking for on YouTube. But it wasn't that. And little did I know that she had and was coming out with a lot more songs. But that song was being played every 15 to 30 minutes day after day, week after week, month after month, and then, bam, I don't hear it anymore. That's how it is in music. So, and she wasn't a teenager anymore. She climbed up past the teens, and she still made a #1 hit. So I mentioned that I don't know her name, but you know enough about the title to find all that out and listen to her interviews and things like that. Now, I listen to a lot of other interviews. I'm not the type that listens to Wagner Porter or Hank Williams Sr., people like that. But I do like some of the country singers and listen to their interviews, kind of like people like not even Johnny Cash, although he's had a couple good songs I like. If you haven't listened to I Hurt by Johnny Cash, and that's one of the main ones that I listen to, if I listen to him, it's before he died and before his wife died. And I will tell you, if you'll look at the video, it's life-changing. I like Chris Christopherson, he's passed away. Bob Dylan's still alive, but I don't know, his music's changed. I don't listen to him so much. And there was another person that's changed enough to where I don't listen to. Music trends come and go. There's a lady, I just got off talking to Bob. He says, it's a shame that Leanne Rimes, I'm going to spell that for you, capital L-E, capital Ann, A-N-N, Rimes, R-I-M-E-S. He said, I think she was from Kentucky, and she only had one hit. She's a one-hit wonder. I said, wow. And I forgot what that one hit was. And I looked it up on Google. She's had so many hits. So many, and he told me this several times, one-hit wonder. I was going to check it out. She's worth $30 million with all the records she's produced. Yeah. Someone you probably never heard of. And I only heard of it because Bob keeps telling me how pretty she was then. She started singing at 13. Now, having said that, I will say there is a reason why we don't hear her on the pop music stations. She switched over to Christian music. Now, the thing about the music is very few are the crossovers. And I'll give you one. There was a song maybe 10 years ago, maybe longer, maybe 20, called Amazing Grace. I don't know who sang it, but it was called Amazing Grace. Just an old-fashioned an old-fashioned hymn. By the way, if you haven't seen the movie called Amazing Grace, watch it. Watch it. It may change your life. It's a true story based upon the guy that wrote the music, or the words rather, to Amazing Grace. And I think at the time he was blind, living in a sort of a cave. The guy that wrote it, living in a cave, was blind. And then a few years ago, and it's in all the hymn books, but just 10, 15 years ago, it becomes a #1 hit song as well as the #1 hit movie that I didn't want to see because I thought, well, I'll go with this person. I'll go and watch it. It was a true story, and I want to see it again. And I would not recommend this to you if I didn't think it may really, 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 really make you think, and even maybe change the way you think. I guess we're talking about music tonight, aren't we? As you know, I don't write many notes, and I don't have a lot of things that I can read off to you. I can tell you one of my favorite songs was Sunday Morning Coming Down. Sunday Morning Coming Down, written by Chris Christopherson. But he didn't write it for himself. He wrote it for another singer. I'll think of his name in a minute. And he wasn't able to make any headways with it. Sunday Morning Coming Down. And he picked one singer he wanted to sing it, Johnny Cash. And he had been in Chris Christopherson had been in the military and even flown helicopters. Somehow he got hold of a helicopter, landed in Johnny Cash's either front yard or backyard and left a demo tape. He had confidence, didn't he? He had no idea that would become Johnny Cash's probably #1 hit of all times. Folsom Prison Blues may be the second one. Let me say this. Johnny Cash never spent one day in prison, but he entertained people in prison. There's confusion there. That's why I said that. I don't think he met Chris Christopherson before that demo tape. When I say demo, I mean it was made to track around to other people, to other record companies, to music companies, maybe to musicians, to see if they're interested in producing it, singing it, or whatever. And Johnny Cash was interested. Well, not only did it make Johnny Cash famous, as well as Christopherson. He sings it good too. But I can't tell you how many other people have made it famous. So that's a few of the people I've listened to and thought about, and when these songs became famous, nobody was really young. Which brings one other thing. The song Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen, he wrote it between 80 and 100 times, revised it. Nobody, his record company that bet on him when he came over here from Montreal, Canada, they didn't want someone as old as he was. I don't think I'm going to tell you how old he was. You can look that up. Because I don't know how old he was when he released it. Because he had rewritten it 80 to 100 times. And if I was a music producer or record company, I'd have rejected it too. It was rejected all over America. Every single record company he took it to. The song Hallelujah that you've probably heard many, many, many times was rejected. A guy by the name of Jeff Buckley, I knew his father only from his records. His name was Tim Buckley Sr. Son was Tim Buckley Jr. They both died by drowning, different times. But before Tim Buckley died, he recorded Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. Why is this important? Because Leonard Cohen couldn't, even with his voice, with his age, Leonard Cohen couldn't get anybody to produce it. So I look at this on a video, and here's this young guy about 19 to 22 strumming a guitar for 5 minutes. Now, this was the introduction to Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. He's sitting there. I say, is he ever going to start singing? And what's his voice going to sound like? Well, he started singing. Who knew him? Did you know Tim Buckley? He went by Tim Buckley because his father had died long before, so they didn't refer him to as Tim Buckley Jr. So he dies, father does, and then the son dies after he records Hallelujah. I may turn it on after this video. I may go to Tim Buckley Hallelujah and listen to him again on YouTube because it's incredible. Sort of a darkness in this room. One of the microphones, that old-fashioned microphones you might have seen in old movies. and nothing sensational about his voice. Nothing sensational. Well, in other countries, Hallelujah took off. Not because of Tim Buckley, but because Leonard Cohen was on tour and he included that song, Hallelujah. Now we don't know if 100 people's performed it or 50, more like 100, because it's been performed at church services, funerals, everywhere else. The words have been changed to make it sound more, may I say, biblical, less secular, and you'll know what I mean if you do a lot of study on Hallelujah. In fact, there's even a book on Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. I've got it upstairs. I don't know the complete title. Now, here he is. I don't think the song even took off till he's 40-some. So what can I do at 86? Well, I tell you what Leonard Cohen did at 86. He had just found out that he lost all of his money to his manager. Now, this was a little bit before 76. She stowed the money. The manager stowed his retirement money. Leonard Cohen's. Way over 65 years old. His career was over. He retired. And this is how I'm going to probably end tonight, because it's so spectacular. He thought, what am I going to do? There was a lady that's been with him forever named Sharon Robinson from the very beginning of his singing. And she was still there in this town. And they got together a lot. They weren't lovers, but she was in all the concerts he was in. She may have helped him do some of the music for his words. She said, Leonard, I know you're old, and I know the younger people aren't going to go for you. But we've got to try. We have to try again. You have no money. So he would get up in the morning. She'd get up in the morning. They lived in different places. Before the traffic started, they didn't want the traffic on the record. They were going to come out with one record. This is going to surprise you. You could. The only thing that was around at that hour of the morning was the birds, and I'm not sure you could hear them. It was way before the traffic. And they made 10 new songs. 10 new songs. Now you gotta realize at this particular time he had disappeared maybe for 15, 20 years from the music scene. Comes out with 10 new songs that they're halfway happy with, and they go and record it. Now this is going to blow your mind. I'm in Borders bookstore, and I just happened to go under Leonard Cohen, and here's the album CD. Title is 10 New Songs. I said, well, how creative can you get? How creative can you get? You get up in the morning and you sing 10 new songs, you write them, and you, before all the noise starts from the traffic, you and this girl, Sharon Robinson, sing it. He sings it. She helps probably with how it should sound. And of course he's got this I don't know what you call it. It's like a piano, but it plays by itself if you program it. And then they take it to the record station and record it. Well, how many record stations would you have if you haven't? How many wants to do anything with you if you haven't had anything for 10 or 15 years? I'm not sure which one, but I think it was Sony. Maybe they hadn't had one by him yet, and they thought they'd take a chance. Well, whoever the record company was took a good chance. I bought 2 copies. Not knowing it, I bought it, and then I forgot. My memory's not as good as it used to be. I saw it somewhere else, and I bought another copy. So I got 2 copies here at the house. I listened to it, and it was good. I said, Leonard, when are you going to come out with another album? Well, it was within 9 months or so. Well, Leonard, when are you going to come out with another album? And then I get a phone call. I'm going to make you wait on this one. I get a phone call. You're wondering, was it from Sharon Robinson? Or was it from Leonard Cohen? And why would they know me, and why would they be calling me? I want to let you think about this for a minute. Why would they call me? How would they know me? How would they know I bought 2 of their CDs? Just think for a minute. Breathe deep. And realize neither one knew me. It was a girl that had known me for many years, and she even borrowed, before he stopped singing, she borrowed my albums and loaned them out, and I didn't get them back. I got one back. She was in another state. She said, I need to let you know Leonard Cohen is coming your way. And it's only been announced one time on NPR, which is one of those educational type stations. Classical music is only mentioned one time. She said, the tickets are on sale today at the Palace Theater in Louisville. See, I'm in Madison. Hour and 15 minutes away from Palace Theater. I called, bought 2 tickets. Wish I bought 100. Because when we went there, we got a motel the night before. I went over to Palace. I said, do you have any more tickets left for Leonard Cohen? They said, how many you want? We got so many. Because it wasn't advertised. Well, it got advertised then. Not because of what I said. It got advertised because other stations didn't know he was coming and started advertising him. The day of the concert, I can't tell you how many people asked if they could buy my tickets. We had 2 for any amount of money. They come in from all cities around, hoping to buy tickets from people that had them. I thought, my God, I should have bought 100 yesterday. But it happened overnight. That's how famous he was, even in Louisville and the surrounding cities. Now, it was a packed concert, to say the least. It was a 4-hour concert, to say the least. But not quite 4 hours, because they had to wait for 2 people to come in to replace 2 people that died that day that were the musicians, if I remember right. 2 people had died, and they flew in people from Austin, Texas that were taught there and knew Leonard's music. It's getting better, isn't it? The first half of it, here, he did play most of 4 hours, by the way. The first 2 hours, he seemed so feeble, and possibly was so feeble because he was dying. This Leonard Cohen's dying from leukemia. No one knows it at the time, but something was wrong. You could tell it. He actually sang a few songs kneeling. And I thought, is he kneeling because he feels so bad? And someone else next to me said, no, that's a prayer cloth. He's Jewish, and they have prayer cloths that they kneel on. Well, I didn't know what to think about that. But I tell you this, he still sang. It was still good. And they took a break. I don't know what you do when singers take a break, do you? Because when he came back, he was a different person. He did not kneel anymore. He was full of energy. Totally full of energy, and did about 5 encores. Now I went down and talked. There were several levels to the Paradise Hotel, or Paradise Theater, as they called it. I went down to where they sold stuff. I bought a few things. He brought his own crew in to sell things because he said when he didn't bring his crew in to sell things, the people that they hired, many people that they hired at where he played, would steal merchandise and would steal money. So he paid not only for 13 musicians, I counted them, but I included him in that 13. 13 musicians, plus the people that sold his songs, CDs, books, and anything else that he had out there. And I thought, how does a person who is ready to die, I didn't know he was ready to die, how does a person ready to die have people outside saying, you tell me what you want for the tickets and I'll buy it? And they also said, if you change your mind, let me know. And then you see these 13 people, and they weren't his age. I'm sorry to tell you. You look him up, you see what his age was. His age was up there. My age doesn't come close to how old he was. And I was hoping he'd come again. And I wondered why he came to Louisville, Kentucky. Because he was so famous in Europe. He was so famous in England. I watched where he toured. What in the world caused him, or who in the world convinced him to come to Louisville, Kentucky, so that me and my wife could see the best show of our life? The best show of our life. Now, if any of you want to know what that concert was like, you can listen to it free. I think it's still free on YouTube. It'll say Leonard Cohen Live in London. Leonard Cohen Live in London. You can watch the whole thing free. And you'll say, where'd he get the musicians? Where'd he get the singers? Where'd he get the harp player? How can they be so good? You're going to ask yourself that. You really will. Guarantee it. Or I'll give your money back to you. Now it's time for us to close. it's time for us to close. You've learned about my favorite singer. And now I hope you're curious enough to look him up on YouTube under Leonard Cohen Live in London. This was during his comeback after all of his money was stolen, after he had released his 10 new songs. And when you see Leonard Cohen Live in London, you're going to say, how? Why? How could this happen? He was unknown after he quit for 10 or 15 years till he came out with 10 new songs. And that was the springboard of him going live in London and live in all other countries. Okay, if you like this video, if there's anything you like about it, let me know. I'll try to answer it. God bless you. May your life be wonderful from now on, regardless of how it's been in the past. Good night.